Bad day. Hey guys, I'm in need of really good advice. April 17th was D-Day for me and the past month and a half has been horrible for me. My wife and I talked it out around the mid-May to actually discuss what had happened. She lied and had an emotional affair with a co-worker. At first I wanted to give up, but it just felt wrong, so I wanted to fight for this marriage. We worked things out and I went to counseling to work on me. This whole situation made me realize that I was controlling, jealous, and codependent. My wife knows that I hate the other man just because of what I have gone through, but I have this feeling that she is hiding information from me. I caught her lying to me again about the other man. She erases the text messages immediately, and they went to lunch at least 3 times, and she tried to hide it from me. Mid-May I agreed to a separation, but it will start in August when I deploy. She doesn't have that much money to get her own place, and she doesn't want to live in the house that I bought her. So, she wants me to pay her rent for 6 months until she can support herself. I just have that feeling that she is just trying to be nice until I leave, then she can do whatever she wants. I feel like I'm getting screwed over. I just don't want to feel like this anymore. I wish I can just flip the switch and leave her and my 5-year-old daughter so I can move on, but I'm not that kind of person to abandon them. But, if I stay I will feel like crap and always wonder and think. She can stay in the current home, but she wants to live on her own. She said that she wants to see if she can live on her own and feel what it's like. We married young, so I can understand a little where she's coming from. But, my daughter will be in college for a school year, so basically, she will be living on her own regardless of where she will be staying. Comments. So, your wife is in an the blame has been shifted to you. There has been history rewriting. You are jealous, insecure, and controlling because you don't want your wife bonding with another man. You do not want her to unbind with you. You do not want her to cake eat. You are the primary breadwinner. So, she wants to be able to continue her affair without you controlling her. She wants to be able to take this to a pee at her apartment. This is called isolation. To work on the marriage, the affair must be killed. Do not accept the blame for her affair. She owns it. Do not give her space for the affair. Do not accept her moving out to take it to the next level. Get a lawyer. You will have to be prepared to divorce her if you want to keep her. Do not settle for separation. In your case, that is just continuing in an open marriage. You need to let her know that living in an open marriage is unacceptable to you and you will not enable it. Expose the affair. If she still works with him, she must quit her job. If she will not quit, contact HR with the affair. You will be told to gather evidence first before contacting them. She must go total NC with him and go through withdrawal before she can work on the marriage. I find blaming the BS for this abusive. You have every right to be jealous. Jealousy is not always bad. In your case, you realize her relationship with the other man is bad for your relationship with her. She is cheating on you. You are dependent on her. She is your wife. It is natural for a man to want to intervene with their wife's affair, so want to control is normal. We realize that we cannot control other people, but we can control ourselves and our boundaries. So, you should not accept this situation. OP responds, she told me that this separation is to make our marriage stronger. She also feels like a divorce doesn't feel right. Currently, she likes to act like the never happened. We still sleep together, cuddle and kiss each other just like before all this happened. Reason why it is so hard for me to make a decision. I tried doing the 180 but I failed. I'm miserable and I hate feeling like this, but I am too weak. After reading everyone's post, it makes sense what you guys are telling me. And I'm getting so mad at myself for not being able to make up my mind. I'm so confused. She said that she doesn't want to live in the house because it is too big. My daughter and I won't be there and that she would just feel lonely and start missing us. And with the separation, she said that she never had anything in her name. We have been married for 7 years and she just got a job last year. If I would have decided to leave her, then she would have had nothing in her name and no money. She wants to be independent. Do any of these make sense? To me it seems pretty legit, but I know I am not thinking clearly. Opinions please. I will start the D. I have an appointment with the base legal office on the 13th. I also bought the divorce paperwork today. I changed my life insurance to my mother's name for my daughter. You guys are right. I just didn't realize until now what has been going on. I know it will be tough until I deploy, but I am hoping my mindset will be different when I leave. Last thing I want is to jeopardize my friends' lives because my mindset was still back home. This will be good for everyone. I am keeping the FS. I always elect to get all that once my deployment is done and I'm back home. And I'm definitely keeping the HFP because I think I'm entitled to keep it. A little something for me to spoil myself once I get back, and my daughter is from her. Just an update, guy. I basically had a good talk with my wife. I told her what I was feeling and what I wanted. So, we agreed to a D. I know she was shocked to hear it from me, and I know she doesn't want one. I can tell that she is scared for her future, but she is the type that has too much pride to say anything. So, our accounts are separate. She is going to move out. If she doesn't, she has no say to this house because I have my brother from California coming over here to take care of the house. I will be going underground. Once I get to my deployed location, I will volunteer for orders to Korea for an extended long tour so I can go there quickly once I get back. If for some reason she wants to make this marriage work, she is welcome at my house, but my bro will be keeping tabs on her. We'll see what happens, but as of right now, I feel so good with my decision. I am in need of some more advice. I placed a VR under her seat and she went out last night. Half of her story was true, but she lied about the OM again. I confronted her this morning and I asked her again to let me know what she did last night. I also warned her that I do not want to call her out on any of her lies. So, she told me the truth and I honestly can tell that it was the truth. All the missing money from my accounts, all the times she deleted his calls and texts, all the times they hung out together, is because he knows the source for buying. She never really cheated or had an affair. It was all a cover-up to use. All the dots started connecting. The bloody Q-tip, her fingernails losing color and shape, and her skin is getting bad. She started using 2 to 3 months ago, and it is in the time frame that all this happened. I'm a cop, and that is the reason that the other man was always trying to avoid, because he was scared of me finding out and pulling a few strings. When the wife told me all this, she had that relief of me knowing the big secret. She even gave me a sincere hug and apologized for making me think that she cheated. She was just scared that I bust them for their meds and ruin their careers. I can somewhat understand her med use because I went through that too. It was a fun recreational thing when I was younger. What do you guys think? She still knows I'm filing for divorce, but for some reason I had a change of heart. I still love her, of course, and she agreed to go to counseling with me from now on. She only hangs out with the OM once a week, and I assume that's when she use. The OM only does but knows where to get. The reason she hid all this cocaine use from me is because she knows that I have an addictive personality, and she was scared that I might want some. I'm in a really good point in my career and I put on another rank next month. She didn't want me to go back to how I was before, but I can see where you guys are coming from. I will not get a divorce yet because I would like to see her change and maybe this marriage will work out. But I'm still not giving her everything, like everything is normal. I am still going to cut her off and treat her like we are divorced. I will get all the divorce paperwork filled out on my appointment on the 13th, but I might hold off on filing. One chance is all I'm giving her. She messes it up, then I'm filing. I might be stupid for making this decision, but I feel like she deserves a chance. It sucks when my decision for a divorce was in full swing until this happened. So frustrating how my feelings change. Any extra 2x4s, the divorce is going to happen. Came home from work and just watched her sleep. Realized that I have had enough of what she put me through. She has the problem that needs fixing, and screw this for waiting for a miracle. If we are meant for each other, it will happen. My decision is final now. Story 2. Help. My wife of 9 years just told me 3 days ago she wants a separation. We have 2 happy, lovely girls, ages 3, 5, and almost 6. We bought a house almost 3 years ago. We were good friends for a couple of years before we started dating, and dated, and lived together for a good 2 years before marriage. So, we've known each other for about 14 years. She told me that she wants to be alone. She wants to stay in a good relationship for the kids. She wants to be friends like we used to be. We used to talk out disagreements and listen to each other's sides of the story and resolve most conflicts. Then the kids. We have been in a gradual decline since the first kid, which quickened once number 2 was in the picture. I have attributed it all to the stress of babies, toddlers. Money is an issue too, as we are a one-income family. I have made the typical guy mistakes, taking her for granted, not listening well, not nurturing the relationship or her. We both come from divorced families, thus don't have positive role models. It took the separation to fully understand this. So, we have degenerated into 2 people who don't respect or listen to each other for the few past years. Again, being an oblivious dude, I just resigned myself to suffer for a while until the kids were a little older, then things would come gradually back. It took her telling me how miserable she is to realize that I too am more miserable than just a stressed out dad. So, basically, our relationship is gone. We are both checked out. I have hope we can salvage it. I love the old her dearly, the new her, of course, not so much, but the new me is not so great either. We both have focused heavily on the kids, who we love more than life itself, probably to the detriment of our relationship. She had asked for us to see a marriage counselor a few times in the past, being the breadwinner and living paycheck to paycheck, or worse. I had not followed that up, again, thinking when we get a little more money, we can deal and pick up the pieces. She is miserable, wants to be happy for the girls. She feels as though she has lost herself. I totally want her to be happy and support anything that she needs to do, but I am not very good at supporting her emotionally. I am terrible at showing her how important she is to me, especially for the past years that we have been checked out. I am a great chore sharer, but half the time, she complains that I don't do enough. The other half, she tells me that the chores don't matter, and I need to support her better, which I never understood, but now I do, at least in theory. So, my heart is broken. When she told me she wants the separation, she was her old self. She allowed herself to be vulnerable, so I remembered what I love about her. I had a great sense of relief that the terrible rut that we were in was over, but an even greater sadness, of course. I had always envisioned us getting back to a good spot and growing old together. And then, there are the kids. I live for them. Wish I could spend every second with them. With a divorce, I can't imagine the pain of not getting to kiss them goodnight every night. Tears. I can't imagine the pain my dad went through. Then I remember how secondary he was to me growing up. That hurts me. So needless to say, I would do anything to keep the family together. She says she will do counseling, but her voice tells me that she really thinks it's over and thinks it will be better living separate lives. We both have come a long way over the years. For example, I used to be very sarcastic, which was a mechanism to make me feel smarter, superior to her. Through many fights, she has helped me realize that, and I've stopped years ago. When she was mad, she used to be really mean, name-calling, demeaning stuff. And worse, and she is much better too. But none of that makes her feel better now. We both suffer from low self-esteem. Please, I'm looking for positive feedback. Please tell me a story where a separation worked out for the better. Tell me it's possible to turn back from the brink. Signed, one sad dad on a Friday night. Out of the blue, though we've been checked out for some time. I don't think there is anyone at all. But boy, do I feel naive. We had a long talk last night. She is still not exactly sure how, but basically the gist of it is she wants divorce. She will do MC but has no hope. She says we are too different. It's too hard. We've tried too hard already, working on ourselves, not the marriage, and it's only gotten steadily worse. Feels like we shouldn't have to change who we are, but that's the only way to make it work. We are totally incompatible. All her words here. We have both definitely lost part of ourselves in this marriage. She feels like she just woke up on her decision that this is what she needs. She has been in a fog, and now it's clear. That is why her anger is gone now. A little more background. Her brother is about 6 months into a not-so-nice divorce. In another country, alone. She just got back from visiting him 3 days before breaking this to me. He is doing well now, working out, new friends, etc. Her dad is also going through a divorce to his second wife. So, there's that big stress in her life too. I've tried really hard to support her feelings about all this. Not sure if she realizes this, or if I have not been doing the right stuff. This is crazy. A month ago, she was talking about buying another house together with help from her dad. Now might this be part of a midlife crisis? We are 37. We both have been lost in baby world for almost 6 years, and of course being the stay-at-home mom. She has definitely taken the brunt of this. We are broke. Our present mortgage is a huge percentage of my pay. Kids and food the rest. So there's severe limitations to what she can do with the kids, and she grew up with more money. So that's hard, for both of us. Wow, I don't think I've ever been so angry. I feel like a fool, like she's misled me for a long time. She does not remember the good times, only the bad. Feels like she never loved me, and it was all in my head. Same time, I feel my part here not being a better husband all these years. I've tried, but seems like every improvement I make, it actually gets worse. Sorry for the ramble. It helps me sort out my feelings. Going to be an interesting weekend. Another thing, depression runs in both our families. She had depression with our first child. Did not seem to with the second. But then again, things have been pretty bad since number 2. I was checked out until this ducking serious wake-up call. Probably not as much as her, but still, every morning, and even after work, just the sight of her would make me grumpy. I'd avoid eye contact, and generally show little respect. I was very conscious of not being directly mean, but still, no good at all. Would yawn when she would try to talk about her feelings with me, standard bullcrap stuff stemming from unresolved resentments. I completely regret it all. But we both have some big resentments from unresolved issues, and she has obviously not been a cup of tea either. Totally subconscious, until the wake-up call. I appreciate all the calls about infidelity. Y'all are trying to look out for a guy in a hard spot, and that's the most obvious, easy answer. I don't think I want to stoop so low as to snoop. It just does not feel right. My radar is on high alert. It is sudden, and out of the blue, but not. As I said, we've been checked out. I've been fantasizing about divorce myself for a while, but just fantasizing. The kids and my dreams of relationship improvement kept me in check. Today was a hard day, as you might imagine. I think she thought this would be easy considering how poor our relationship has been lately. Not big fights, but just no connections. And as I said, I've been jerk, and she too. Well, we will continue to talk at night, and hopefully get somewhere. Either closure, or reconciliation. At least we can talk now. Ironic. Regarding the infidelity thing, I strongly doubt it, based on 3 things. 1. I know her character. I know, most people doesn't suspect an affair until too late, so this one does not hold much weight presently. 2. We have been very busy with young kids, and pretty much have done everything together as a family until last week. She doesn't really have time, at least for a physical affair. Emotional. Maybe. 3. I've looked at the cell phone bill, family plan, and no strange phone numbers. There are some texts to hash that I don't know, but not a ton to one particular. And none at inappropriate hours. She does FB text with her brother, who is getting the divorce. I am considering a straightforward approach. I want to ask her directly to show me her texts, and Facebook stuff, to explain that I don't suspect, but I need to be sure. Anyone think that is a mistake? Not sure I will do it today, but that's is where I am leaning within the near future. Or maybe wait until within the safety of MC session. Another thing, Wife's brother is going through a messy divorce out of the country. Bro, Dad have at best a very rough relationship. Dad wants to visit. Bro says only if she, my wife, his sis, can go too. Wife asked me if I could take a week of my vacation time to stay home and watch the kids. I've been aching to go back home for a couple weeks using my vacation time. Haven't been able to return in 3 years. I talked to my boss. I could likely just take the extra time considering my predicament. But I'd feel bad about that. As a husband, I'd support her in this family crisis. As the dude being separated from, not sure I want to do any favors like that. But then again, the brother is in a very rough spot, much worse than what I am. So far, I sympathize with him and my wife's worries, and I don't want to be punitive here. I've got passive-aggressive tendencies. In a way, she deserves to have been having an stay-at-home mom with 2 young kids at home. Husband who is not emotionally available. I am pretty good at helping around the house. A great loving dad, if I do say so myself. I cook and help clean when I can, but I think I use this as an excuse to be unavailable emotionally. She told me this in her own non-constructive way many times. I just was too resentful to hear or understand. Anyway, she has turned to friends for emotional support in day-to-day stuff. I know that. And, yes, I am taking this very seriously. I am actually very glad that this is happening. I was a walking zombie. All of my feelings were gone. I did not enjoy daily interactions with others. My job, which is an absolute dream job. It felt great to finally cry. And after the tears, I am able to feel happy and understand my part in the hell that we were in. And most importantly, I want to live well. At this point, I still deeply love her, but am in agreement with her that we are better off being separated and healthy, happy than where we were. I feel that we can be a great love story in the end, like you seem to be. But I am giving her all the space I can. It's a hard separation. We are broke, with 2 kids, 1 car, and 1 computer. We can't afford to go out and get even a studio apt. It's complicated. I did cry and tell her my feelings. Told her that I think we were and always will be connected in our souls, that I love her deeply. And told her how I am appreciating what she did, and how I honor her strength and bravery to do it, etc. But I also told her that if it weren't for the kids, I would agree with her that we are done. Too much stuff to deal with, too big of a risk to try to come back together. Now I'm giving space. But thanks for your last comment, because I've also been fantasizing about the special dates that I want to ask her on, to show her how I care. Been wondering whether it's appropriate to try to woo her back at this point. Sounds like it's too soon, and I don't want her to come back to me out of pity for my pain. I am taking many steps at self-improvement, both emotional and physical for me. If it doesn't work out, I'll still have me. And to MC we go. And I see too. I just want to clarify, I don't think this situation is my fault. I realize, as does wife, that it took 2 to make this party. I have just spent so much time blaming her for all of our problems. I am really just now realizing how my behavior contributed also. That said, I am typically the one who backs down, says sorry in our fights, even when it is clear to me that we've both been jerks. I fear anger, and she has a lot of anger. So, yes, there are a lot of things that she needs to accept, admit, work on before I will feel like we can be healthy together. Love is one thing, but living like we were is another. She feels done and is absolutely sure of herself. The worst part of it is that we've had some of the best talks we've had in years the last few days. We've calmly communicated and worked out a conflict that would have resulted in several days, at best, of crappy fights and another resentment added to the pile. I say worst part because this seems to reinforce her belief that we are better separate. She just told me about a high schooler that she knows he is a superstar. Grades, football, music, voted most likely to something. She had asked him how he is so responsible. His answer was that his parents are divorced, and somehow it forced him to find himself and empowerment through that. So, I'm pissed. Pissed that she's arrived here without me. Pissed that I'm afraid she's right. Pissed that there is no evidence of an affair. I've always thought that if my spouse had physical affair, I'd leave immediately. I almost want that just to have some clue of what will happen. But I'm sure it is much more complicated than that. Is this where the 180 needs to come in? I need to read up on it, clearly. Still, anything is better than where we were. And I continue to work out, shave every day, and smile as much as possible. Sounds about right. Yes, talking very civil, no emotion. Very open, but only for the sake of the kids. Wants to be friends again. Only friends. Says wants to be alone for a long time. That remains to be seen. Yes, she is still in the house. We are working on figuring out how to give space. So hard with kids, no cash. But we will get there soon. There are a couple of 1 or 2 week trips to visit our respective families, separately of course, over summer. But for me that's not soon enough. It's too weird. I told her so last night. She needed to get a job so we can move on with this. In the past, that was a big trigger for her for obvious reasons. Now was a civil convo. Thanks so much for helping me understand what the F is going on. Off to read about 180. And please don't feel bad for me. not yet at least. I too feel alive and whole again, suddenly, as a result of this crazy event. I know that may not make much sense, but we were both just jerks, and it's such a relief to accept my part and realize that I am not a terrible person. I felt like a terrible person for so long. She trained me good, and I trained her back, or vice versa. I know there are very serious forces at work here, but I am facing them head on and can accept the outcome. I hope. I am beginning to see her pain. At first, when she decided this all, she felt great and free. I thought for sure I was done for. So, this afternoon, W was looking not so great. She has been sleeping terribly. She said she's been really stressing about the logistics. I told her as a husband, I'm done, but as a person, I am a little worried about how she is doing. Says she is short with the kids and can't be as good a mom as she wants. I've been letting her experience at least a little of the single life by staying at work late. Letting her deal with bed routine, which used to be my chore. So, crap, yes, it's going to be stressful. Here I thought she was getting happy. Okay, that's a little snarky, but that's allowed at this point. I've been telling and showing her how happy I am feeling. I still need to read up on 180, but this feels appropriate at this point. Crap, I love that woman and want her to find herself and come back to me. Tomorrow, I'm going camping with friends and the kids for the weekend, so when you don't hear from me, I haven't gone off the deep end or anything. So, the other day, I asked my kid, casually, for W's phone password. That sucked, but it was casual and she had no idea. I just had the opportunity to snoop. When she was in Mexico comforting her brother, who is going through his divorce, she made a friend of her brother's friend. I was not able to figure the extent, but there are long texts between the two. I don't think anything happened, but it's clear she enjoyed the sparks, and it was clear, to me, that he is interested. There have been texts since her return, and to recap, she told me shortly after her return about the sudden realization that she wanted to be alone. But it's not because of anyone else. She walked in while I was checking the phone, and I panicked, locked it and put it down quickly, but the FB texting app was left open to a particularly interesting text mentioning her drunkenly puking on his couch blankets and her dress. So, when she opens her phone, that will text show. Right now, she is being very friendly. Not sure if she realized it or not, but if not, she's got some crazy blinders on. Wish I took a photo with my phone. When she returned home, one thing she talked about is her total lack of interest in drinking. We are light social drinkers, but she used to drink excessively. Actually, when we first started dating, I told her that I had an alcoholic father and was not interested in dating a problem drinker. So, she went to IC and worked a lot of stuff. Before anyone judges her, I need to be honest and state that it took me much longer to realize that I also had a problem. I was a stoner for years. That is also part of our present, but I digress. I am very familiar with the freedom felt by a woman on vacation, and I can only imagine a neglected, bitter wife. Kids in the house right now, so I'm trying to be measured. Again, going camping soon, so I will be offline for the weekend. Oh, and she is planning on returning to Mexico in a few weeks with her dad to visit her bro. The plot thickens. Life is beautiful, and through adversity, we thrive. W denies anything happened. Any interest is totally against that I would snoop. So, W is being very nice to me. Good thing the text messages were on Facebook. I looked at her profile, and the dude is no longer her friend. Does not seem like the actions of an innocent to me. Fishing continues on my part. So, if this is so textbook, is there a chance that I can trick her into giving up the beans? I also wonder if there is someone locally. Does not seem like it, but I've said that before. Since the epiphany coincided with the Mexico trip, it seems like a tight package. About 2 months later. So, the wife is fully in the fog. She is lying to everyone. She is lost. I have hard evidence of Ia, not sure, but physical affair is likely. Though short-lived, I am seeing a therapist at least 2 times a week for the past 3 weeks since I found the evidence. Trying to both work on myself and approach this constructively instead of destructively. W knows I suspect, as I told her. She does not know that I have evidence. At this point, she is even texting and phoning him on our family plan. She is lost, and maybe wants to get caught. As part of her separation from me, she is currently taking our 2 kids on a vacation to visit her mother. EOM is halfway across the country. She is going through some very dark emotional times, and I can see it rubbing off on the kids. This makes me extremely angry. She is neglecting the kids in her fog, and they are worse off for it. I am trying my hardest not to go public with the information yet, on the advice of my individual and marriage counseling, and for the fact that if it blows up, and I am not there for the kids, they will suffer. But I am so pissed off right now. She is lost in the fog, so as a human, I feel terrible for her. And I feel a certain amount of empathy for her pain. But she is treating everyone she contacts like a piece of crap, lying to friends, family, the kids, and of course me. I've got to hold it in for another week. I am working out a lot, taking ownership of the house, painting the kids' bedroom, rearranging furniture, possibly redecorating a little. hanging out with friends and talking with close family, working with IC. I talk to the kids every day. They are tough. And we'll get through another week. At first, I wanted to reconcile, as I still believed in love. And for the kids, this is slipping, and I am beginning to doubt her ability to look at her actions. But I don't want to make any emotional decisions, especially before I can constructively approach this. Please, I need support. Not sure how, or in what form, but I am feeling scared, frustrated and angry. All normal, I realize, but I am close to blowing this up, and intellectually. I know that now is not the time. There is no rush. I have not officially confronted her, only told her I suspected. More to confirm the level of her lies to me. I want to confront in a constructive manner, at our MC. This will likely happen in a little over a week, when W returns home with our darling kids. Ages 4 and 6. I have restricted cash supply, confiscated kids' passports. But she has kids out of town, so I can't completely cut her off. I have several reasons for not exposing yet. I want to do is constructively. I don't want to put the kids in the path of the flailing that is sure to ensue. I feel bad for her. I don't want to lose the kids. Even 50-50 is too little. I live in a no-fault state. That's the worst part. I am not worried about my reputation or confidence. My self-confidence has never been better since finding this affair. She has asked for a divorce, though has done nothing but buy a do-it-yourself divorce book, instead of preparing herself by looking for a place, getting a job, etc. She is on a 2-week vacation, fog, so I am not of the mind that filing will force her hand. It will free her to live in her fantasy. Could be wrong. Please, countering opinions are welcome. I just wrote my first draft of a confrontation letter that I will use to keep on point when the time comes. It was cathartic. I think I need to further plan my life without her. We share a car and a computer, for instance. The ironic part is that her parents had a terrible divorce and she thinks we are going to be friendly. And friends at the end. A do-it-yourself really. Please. Days later, Tuesday, I was talking with my sister and therapist, separately, and sort of came to the realization that our relationship, wife and me, was heavily based on dysfunction, and that she likely will not be able to face the pain that she is in, which would be required to have a healthy relationship and reconcile. I am happily facing my pain and enjoying the growth. So, I sort of mentally to her let go, accepted the high likelihood of divorce. Actually, that I don't want to be with her. Sadness and freedom. Yesterday, Wednesday, I had offered to give a friend a tour of my work. My friend had told me that her friend was very into my field of work, retracted here to protect my identity. A fellow lover. So, I offered to show her around. I hadn't met her. This was just a friendly gesture to a friend of a friend. Well, when she arrived, wow, instant sparks. We clicked. It was both a contrast to the healthy respect that I have been missing my marriage, and just an affirmation that someone cool can think what I do is neat. That I am neat. We had lunch after the tour, ostensibly to talk about work stuff. But it was more like one of those conversations that cover everything, that you just don't want to end. Like a great date. I realize that I am hurting, and this is not the time, etc. My judgment is not so clear right now. But then on the other hand, I am feeling something that I have never felt before. Usually, when someone new likes me, I think why? And recoil. This time I just want to know more about her and share myself with her. She is very interesting to me. We only spent a couple of hours together, but I could not stop thinking about her. I had a dream about her. The universe works in mysterious ways. When I think about her, I smile. When I think about the other day when we met, I smile. I think about a new detail of our conversation, and I smile. My therapist and another friend agree that it is good that I can recognize and be open to these feelings. I find it very good that I can feel that someone has positive feelings for me, and that I did not recoil, especially someone that I think is cool and am attracted to. Typically, I think, why does this person like me? What do they want from me? They must be desperate. Better withdraw a little. On the other hand, if someone does not show interest, I have been attracted to that, wanting to impress them. This shows me that I have indeed exercised some demons. It feels great. About a week later, I have been dark. Once I found acceptance, I kept moving forward in therapy and facing demons. I'm on my phone and can't type well, so must be a bit brief. Ask questions if not clear. My parents divorced when I was young. I always wondered how they were ever together. They are so different, more so than the opposites attract thing. Well, one day it hit me. They married for the pain that they could bring to each other. The pain that they learned life was about as kids. Dysfunction. It made perfect sense. And of course I've been working on the same stuff within myself. It took my wife telling me that she wanted out for me to realize I needed to provide the abandonment feelings that I thought defined my life. Some of my earliest memories of realizing I loved my wife revolve around her hurting me so badly. I would break down in the breakdown. I would think, wow, I must care about her if that hurts me so badly. So anyhow, in realizing the dysfunction of our relationship, and I wanting to step away and have a healthy life, I accepted it all. I found peace. I have made deep connections with my whole family that I've never had, with friends old and new. My wife, on the other hand, is still trying to relive her parents' terrible long-lived battle-heavy divorce. She has no ability to see or face her personal stuff. And I have accepted this. I am happy. We are getting a divorce. It will be hard, but where before in my self-loathing dysfunction, challenges were to be avoided, I now embrace them as an opportunity for learning and growth. So, the journey begins. Have a great therapist and a wonderful support network, and am facing the tough issues and emotions directly. This is never an easy decision, nor one to take lightly, but in the end, W had made it months ago. And even if I still wanted to keep it together, she is out. If I wanted to keep it together, it would only be for dysfunction. This realization has been incredibly freeing, and as a skeptic myself, I must address the skeptics out there. This realization came before meeting my friend. I have been looking at this both by myself, with my therapist, and with my GF. I have been and continue to look at my possibly unhealthy motivations. This is healthy. It passes all of the tests I have put against it. In my past, I have recoiled from anyone who has actually liked me. I have put up barriers, and only gone for unavailable people. I have been attracted to pain. None of that is true here. I admire this person for who she is, not for who I want in a mate. She does too. It can take care of myself. I was actually looking forward to it. Not looking for a partner out of fear of being alone. We are reading a great book on relationships together. The timing is not ideal, but I know what my heart feels is right. In life, we play the cards we are dealt. I have never met anyone as compatible as her, and vice versa. I've always been a skeptic regarding love at first sight, but I am losing that. So, if I had read my last posts, I too would be skeptical, and I am. But in honestly looking, it passes my concerns, and most importantly, I trust my heart. We are certainly experiencing the dopamine rush stage of a new relationship. That much is clear. I have never been in a fog in the beginning of a relationship, because I have only entered into them for pain that they can bring me. Not never there was one when I was 16. Otherwise, I've never been interested in anyone who actually liked me for me. So, I am proceeding with this with openness. I am not hiding anything from GF, or from my ex, or my family and friends or therapist. I am open to opinions and am listening to all. I continue to be completely dedicated to my children. I am a skeptic by nature, so question everything that is happening. In questioning, I continue to feel better. I did not ask for this. I fought my wife leaving me with everything I had. I worked hard on myself, both in therapy and on my own. She did not. I found myself, tried to work on our relationship, but she was not willing. She has too many childhood demons perhaps. Our relationship was based on dysfunction, and it takes two to change that. The biggest question that I see is whether or not I would become confused if my ex came to me wanting to work it out. If she was willing to face her crap for the kids. Before I met my GF, which was an accident, a friend of a friend, I had come to the absolute conclusion that no, I would not. I have been manipulated and lied too deeply, been disrespected and controlled for too many years. Sure, we had fun together in the early days of the relationship, but it was mainly shallow fun, coupled with meds. As I stated earlier, I think, I write a lot. I remember the first time that I realized that my wife was important to me was a day that she had hurt me so badly. I thought if she can hurt me this much, I must love her. The same thing happened on D-Day. I had no love for her until she abandoned me. This was a pattern over and over in our relationship. I was subconsciously choosing women that would abandon me in hopes of fixing them with my love. But really, I was hoping to fix a childhood pain, crisis, and childhood family problems by proxy. As soon as I realized this, and faced the pain from so many moons ago, my need for this dysfunction vanished. The pain washed away with the tide, and I become open to healthy relationships. These healthy relationships, which began with my family and friends, warmed my heart, and showed me both my own value and the value of healthy connections. Once I embraced all this, well, I began a new chapter of my life. One which includes a healthy partner. I did not ask to meet her, but again, such is life, and I am ridiculously happy it is happening. I have shed many tears over the end of my marriage, even recently. It is an end of an era. I am conscious that the fog could cloud my dealing with emotions that I need to experience in this divorce. I am purposely taking time to focus on feeling what I need to feel. This is the reason for this long ramble, usually. I write my journal, but I'm on a roll. I need to process and embrace it all. I am facing all of this pain and confusion of the divorce for my own development, but my motivation is for the kids. I need to be as emotionally stable, which means accepting my feelings, embracing them, not running from them, stable for the kids, healthy for the kids. My comment: how you guys like this one? Check out the recent stories. I really tried hard to upload as much as possible for you guys, so check them out if you haven't. Sub and bell and let's keep learning from these stories.